friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I just want you guys to know that every single time you click on my video to watch me, it means everything. Okay, I see you guys subscribing. I legit can see all of your guys' names. It makes me so happy. I feel like it's very important that I share more of my personal experiences here on my channel, because I realize that more than anything, we are a community, we are friends, we are family. And so I kind of want to share the most personal of my experiences with you guys. I just also want to quickly do a young disclaimer that every single thing that I'm going to be talking about today in terms of giving relationship advice, I am in no way a relationship expert. I do not have any credentials that give me the authority to be diagnosing people with whatnot and giving you guys legit relationship advice. This is legit from my own personal experiences and opinion. So before you come for me, make sure that you understand that. Anyway, so I'm just gonna take it right from the beginning. I basically began dating when I was in grade 10. I know that for a significant number of people, I might be considered a late bloomer. A lot of my friends do. And what basically happened was I got into a relationship with a guy who I thought I really liked and thought he liked me too. We went out for legit about a month. And within that month, we probably saw each other like 2 or 3 times. And it was very interesting because I legit had no expectations of what is required of me and him to make a legit relationship. And to be honest, the only reason why I'm acknowledging any of my high school relationships is only for the purposes of this video, but under normal circumstances, I don't even consider them, legit relationships, to be honest, you guys. But I just kind of want to give you guys a background story of some sort. Cool. Our relationship is basically through texting. And the times we have met, within those 2 or 3 times we've met, we hold hands, we hug. There isn't even kissing, not even a peck on the lips. It's just very primary kindergarten type of relationship. And to be honest, I thought there was nothing wrong. He didn't expect anything from me. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is normal. He stops talking to me all of a sudden. He ghosts me for no particular reason. I really thought this guy was into me, you guys. Like, we legit would talk about the most bizarre things. At some point, he even mentioned he wants to marry me. Listen, no judgments here. This guy was telling me he wants to marry me. He's like, Zandi, you are it for me.
And I'm sure you thought, yes.
Oh my gosh, I legit believed every word. I was like, no way, this is my husband. I'm spending the rest of my life with him. And I'm pretty sure that goes for most of us who get into relationships for the first time. You really take in the BS. And for some reason, I really do believe that at the time he believed what he was saying, because maybe it might have been the infatuation of that time we got into a relationship with each other. I have never held any ill will towards him. It's very interesting that, we spoke about such things and we were so young. So I get my mini heartbreak. At least that's what I thought was a heartbreak. I then decide that, guys are really shocking. This guy gave me no reasons as to why he doesn't want to be in a relationship with me. I did nothing wrong. I felt rejected. I felt like this was uncalled for. Why would this guy decide that he's gonna ghost me? It was so confusing for me. And so I decided that I'm just gonna completely close myself off from being in another relationship. So I stay single for the next 2 years and a couple of months. Then I start dating again when I am doing my last year in high school, my Matric. Here I am jumping into a relationship with a guy that I've had a crush on when I was in grade 9. This guy, I had never met him. Ne? What happened was, it was during those BBM times, my cousin posts a picture of me as her display picture. So this guy asks, can I have her BBM pin? I don't know how it happened. My cousin doesn't even tell me. My cousin doesn't even ask, should I give this guy your BBM pin? She just decides, I'm just gonna give him. He asked for it. They will talk about it on their own. We start talking and I realize, okay, I don't know this guy. And I'm like, who are you? How did you get this BBM pin? Blah, blah, blah. And he's just telling me that he knows my cousin. They go to the same school and my cousin is dating his cousin. So I'm like, oh, okay, makes sense. So we start talking from there on, and then, wow, Kagiso is really concentrating.
Yep.
Kagi is like, he's like folding his arms. He's like, and trust me, guys, today he's gonna know everything.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Guys, I'm legit telling you guys everything before I even told him. Okay, anyway, we start talking from there on. You know, it's very innocent at this point and we are flirting here and there, but there never really comes anything out of it. At some point, we even lost contact. And then fast forward to me doing my Matric year, I stumble upon him on Facebook. Guys, I remember when I stumbled upon him on Facebook and I was so shook. I was like, this is the same guy? That kid had grown so much. Like, it was incredible to see. Like, his baby cheeks were gone. He looked really handsome, but it was just shocking at how he had changed, you know? But I could still tell that it was him. So I'm assuming he was maybe 17.
So he was in Matric.
18. I honestly think that he like failed a grade because wow, that kid had a lot of problems. Like,
so this is the second kid you're dating at this point.
Yes, in Matric now.
A child. The second child you're dating.
Oh my gosh, I was a child too. I was also a child. Like, oh my, I'm also in high school. Oh my word. Anyway, so we start dating and yeah, the relationship is completely bizarre. I mean, wow, that relationship was such a roller coaster. I'm actually considering doing a story time based on this particular relationship just in detail because yeah, this guy showed me flames. Our relationship was solely based on WhatsApp. Okay, we would hardly meet. And every time I would bring up meeting, he'd give me a bunch of excuses, like he has to go to a funeral. He has to do this.
One out was probably broke.
Yeah, and maybe he was broke. And to be honest, I never held that against him.
It's so hard being a guy. And,
Nah, and I want, yeah, and the girl's like,
let's meet.
let's go for lunch. I'm like, let's go out for lunch. Let's do this.
No, come
But
visit me, go get a motoana. That's what you should be doing.
nah.
Yeah.
But you know, I'd recommend a number of things. Like, let me come to you, or you can come to me. Like, I really wanted us to meet officially. And to be honest, at that time, I did not even expect anything from him. I didn't expect him to buy me anything. I didn't expect him to take me out to a fancy restaurant. Not even McDonald's, really. I legit had no idea how relationships worked and what you were supposed to do when you're in a relationship. Because this was like my second boyfriend, and to be honest, that guy in grade 10, would you really consider that a relationship? So technically my first, maybe. You know what? None of them were my... I didn't date those guys. I did not date those guys. I don't know what we were doing, but that was not being in a relationship. We just called each other baby and whatever. But I don't know what that was. Anyway, he turns out to obviously be a nightmare too. And wow, I'm just like, okay, high school relationships really aren't a thing. You know what I mean? He basically cheated on me. I found out about it on Facebook. He basically posted a picture of himself and a girl kissing. He had never posted a picture of me on his Facebook. So I was kind of like, wowza, okay, cool. I'm going to do a story time on that. I was
You
distraught.
sound fancy.
To be, yeah, I was sad at that time. But I remember I didn't even cry. I didn't even do anything. You know what? To be honest, I think it was a relief more than anything. That guy came with a lot of baggage, and he did have. I don't know if he had a drug problem. He had once confessed to me that he takes cat. And I was like, what is that? That was the first time. Yeah, babe, I didn't know such a drug existed in my life. I was like, what is that? And he's like, yeah, it's a mixture of different kinds of drugs, but I only take it out when I go out. That's the only time I take it. And I'm like, okay, so is that supposed to make it okay? But to be honest,
around that time, that's when cat was.
Really?
Yeah, because when I was in high school, it wasn't cat. I was probably I don't know, Matric or something. I don't know.
What? I don't even know what Matric is.
Yeah. Around my time was probably that, and then cat came around 2015, 2014. That's when I started hearing about it. So I suppose it's around that time. You know what I mean?
Jesus. Wow. So yeah, I was just like, oh my goodness, what did I bring myself into? And guys, I was so fond of that little boy. I was just like, no way, I really, really, really like him. So after I found out that he was cheating on me, I was kind of like, okay, I'm good. Now fast forward, the following year, I'm obviously going to uni, and I just, it was a culture shock for one. And I was really trying to make a good transition into my university life. So I really didn't want to jump into any relationship. I remember there was a guy that was a year older than me. So he went to uni a year earlier, and then I kind of followed him, and he was kind of like helping me transition in uni. So we would always hang out together because, listen, it was a familiar face and we know each other from high school, and so we kind of gravitated towards each other. I remember later on, he started like developing feelings for me, and he was kind of like, I really want to make things official, and I really was not looking to be in a relationship. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's such a bummer. Like right now, I don't need that. I don't need that right now. I'm in university. There's a buffet of human boys. Listen to me. There's a buffet of human boys. But I'm really trying to find myself in this space and discover who I am or who I want to become, and really kind of just focus on my transition here in university. And don't get me wrong, I actually had the biggest crush on that guy in high school. Like the biggest crush. Yeah. That guy is the same guy that would date those girls with big butts. Remember that girl I was telling you about?
I didn't ask you that question. I don't know why you felt the need to share.
No, initially I liked him. Yo, babe, don't take it personal. Don't take it personal, my love.
And continue that story.
Yo, way, this guy is jealous now. I don't know. It's really nothing personal. I'm just sharing my honest relationship experiences, So, Brother Kamo is catching feelings, and I'm just like, yo. So, I actually had the biggest crush on that guy, but when I got to university, I just really wasn't trying to get into any relationship. You get to university and you realize, wow, like, this is a culture shock. There's so many people there, and it is absolutely nothing like high school or your neighborhood friends. It's really like a different place with a whole lot of people. I knew that if I didn't adjust and take the whole thing in properly, I knew that I might probably get wild. I became single for that entire year, and then the next year I think I was kind of used to the environment, and I was kind of like more comfortable, and I was ready to do my own thing again. I thought I was matured enough to actually have an idea of what it is that I expect in a guy when it comes to being in a relationship with them, and I was kind of ready to explore all of those ideas. So now I start seeing a couple of guys. I would go on lunches, on dates, on dinners, on ice cream dates, and it was all fun. It was nothing really serious. It was just me trying to figure out what my ideal type of guy might be. I still feel like I had absolutely no idea what it is that I was looking for in a relationship, but at this particular time I was trying to figure out the type of guy I'm looking for to be in a relationship with. You know, relationships are so profound, you guys. They are so profound, and a lot goes into it. You can't just randomly date anybody that looks at you twice. You really need to think about it, analyze them, analyze the type of people they are, their background, the friends that they hang out with, their interests, and then come back again and analyze how compatible you are with them. So a lot goes into it. It's just not a girl meets boy, let's date, and then boom. Yes, it's about to rain. Guys, I don't know what my obsession is about rain. My heart just becomes genuinely happy when it's raining. I know. And my sister has the same thing too, so I'm not weird. Anyway, you know, uni boys, they're not like high school chaps. You know, high school chaps, you spot the red flags in a jiffy. You know, they are not even trying to hide their sinister ways. They're just doing their own thing. They're young, and you know, they're also still exploring. But now uni boys, or guys that have, you know, left high school, are kind of more sinister. You know, they have kind of, you know, been in the game for a little while, and they've mastered the craft of sneakiness. So some of them can be very convincing. Like, I have met guys that promised me the world, and later on I discovered that, Jesus, this was a wolf in sheepskin. Like, had I given in? And again, that was also a time where I discovered that I might have emotionally detachment issues, and that goes for like me being friends with people and being in relationships with people. Like, I genuinely have emotionally detachment issues. I don't know if it's probably daddy issues, I don't know, I don't want to get into that, but that's where I actually realized that that was a thing. Because I would meet this guy, he would promise me the world, he messes up just once, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of that. Peace. And that went on, guys. That went on and on and on. It was a continuous cycle where I would legit write people off like that. Like, it was unhealthy, really. But then at the same time, I might have seen the red flags coming a mile away. So I kind of wouldn't give guys bampontiteng one red flag a chance, not a second chance. And that was a blessing and a curse at the same time. But I kind of feel like it prevented me from heartbreak at the end of the day. Like, I have been disappointed a number of times, but I'll never say I know how genuine heartbreak feels like, because I've just had never at the time loved anybody. Maybe strong like, but actually being deeply in love with anybody, I don't remember. Till obviously I met Kachi.
I feel special.
And guys, it's incredible. And I remember I realized that I had those issues because my longest relationship before this one was like 8 months. And guess who that relationship was with? That boy in my last year of high school. And secondly, I've had longer situationships than that. My dating life was such a mess. There was nothing definite written down in stone. I was just like, listen, I'm open to the idea of being with you, but if you mess up once, I'm gone, and I'm moving right along. At some point, I was like, oh my gosh, what if I'm incapable of loving somebody else? Like, what if I'm a psychopath? And it did bother me for a little, but then I didn't know. I'm still young. Like, I have my entire life ahead of me. I didn't realize that maybe I should just focus on school right now and just kind of let dating cease to exist in my life right now. Because, listen, I'm only like in my 1920s, and I'm just like, why are you looking for a serious relationship then? Why are you looking to love somebody? Love your books, perhaps. I didn't understand that. Yes, I was focused on my books, and yes, I was not seeing anybody, so I didn't have really a distraction of being in love with somebody and trying to study and whatnot. I agree. But at the same time, I was just so fixated on a lot of things that I didn't realize that it was okay for me not being in a relationship. After it all fails, I decide that maybe I just need to re-strategize. Like, I need to completely reshuffle the type of guys I look for when I want to get into a relationship. Maybe I just need to step back a little and just analyze what it is that I'm doing wrong. I did a couple of things right. I acknowledge that I also did a couple of things wrong. One of the things that I did right was the fact that I was able to guard my heart, and I was able to not give myself completely to a guy that I might not know if the intentions are pure for me or not. What happened was, I told myself that I'm never going to get in an intimate situation with somebody that I am not dating. If the guy hasn't made it clear, oh, we are dating, why the hell is he getting a girlfriend benefits from me? I feel like that's also mistake number one. You give this guy girlfriend benefits, wife benefits, and they didn't even earn that. They didn't even say, Jorge, they want you to be their girlfriends. I feel like a lot of girls do this. Oh yeah, go heartbreak, ituletse fat, and you decide, I am gonna take this heartbreak. I get it. Maybe it's wrapped in very attractive, wrapping. It says the right things and it's the perfect guy. But I appreciate a guy that just comes up to you and is like, listen, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm just looking for a playmate. Are you interested in being a part of that arrangement? There's absolutely nothing wrong with also asking a guy, what are we? I remember my sister would always say, I always ask a guy, are we dating? Nah. Are we a thing? Like, the guy has to confirm. No, not even. Some of them, because you don't really want to say things out loud and then be pointed out as liar or whatever. Some of them want to come back with a defense story. Like, no, I didn't say you're my girlfriend. Why are you mad? Did I say we're dating? You know what I mean? Okay. So my sister's like, I always have to make sure, are we dating now? Because we've been going out on dates. We've been doing all of those things that people that are in relationships are doing. But you have never, not once, confirmed what we are. Like, put a title on it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You're not a nag when you're asking a guy to put a title on it. You're simply just looking out for yourself. Trust me, guys. Don't just say, we probably are dating, and conclude in your head that you're dating this guy. Tomorrow, when you catch him with another girl, he can easily defend himself and say, did I tell you that you're my girlfriend? I didn't say anything about us dating. And then you're heartbroken. At first, I was so fixated on the fact that I'll never date a guy that I'm not physically attracted to. Now I understand the meaning of attraction. It's more profound than we think. You can be attracted to this guy and everybody else is just like, where's your gorilla? You know what I mean? That means you are just attracted.
That doesn't mean I'm a gorilla. Just so we clear.
Ooh, just so. Oh, I trade. Wait for us to tell you. Anyway, so what I mean is that you can be attracted to a person who everybody else particularly doesn't find attractive. Because you are attracted to them as a person, you're attracted to the qualities they have, you're attracted to the things they like, you're attracted to how kind they are. That's what you're attracted to, rather than mere looks. It's very important to be very cognizant of those types of things when you are dating somebody. Is he cute but he's an actual ass? What do you do about that? Do you find him physically attractive because your friends think he's hot? Or he really treats you well, he makes you feel really good about yourself? Which one are you going to pick? Because in majority of the times, you're not going to find both. I'll tell you that. Like, it's rare. It's rare. Trust me, it's rare. Anyway, so I decide that, you know what, now I'm gonna look beyond looks. Are they smart? Do I enjoy having conversations with them? Now that's the guy I'm looking for. And there I stumble across this guy. Ibile, this guy, I had known him for a little while. We were in some classes together and we had a couple of mutual friends. So I was comfortable in giving him a chance to get to know him. Right when I'm thinking I'm going into this thing with a refreshed mentality. Firstly, that guy was probably the least attractive guy I've ever been with. And you know, the way he'd always be like, oh, you're so pretty. Oh my gosh, you're this, you're that. I was like, oh, this guy is going to treat me like an egg. Oh, no, this guy is going to worship me. There's no way he's going to break my heart. How? How is he going to break my heart if he probably knows that I did him a favor? Like, guys, I was so convinced he's not typically the guy I would normally go for under normal circumstances. You know, he's completely different from the type of guys I usually go for. So it just might work. And for a little while, it felt that way. You know, he really would stroke my ego like hectically. He really would reassure me, you're so beautiful. Wow. You this and that. Cool. And guys, just like that, I got so smitten. I remember it got to a point where I would buy him food. I'd even buy his brother food. Like, hey, I'll treat him to breakfast. I'll treat him to dinner. I'd be like, okay, let's order in, and then I would pay for dinner. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with spoiling your significant other, but you should be able to identify between a guy that's just simply using you and a guy that actually appreciates the fact that you're spoiling him and he knows that he will return the favor or he's been returning the favor. I believe that relationships should be a two-way street. The minute it feels one-sided, then you know, oh, there's something wrong. His words just seemed to mess with me because I was so convinced. That happened for a short while. He quickly turned into a nightmare after that. This nigga did a hectic switch up that I had never. And you know, another thing is, this guy was so open to the fact that yeah, let's date, let's get into a relationship. He wasn't like the other guys where I'd have to maybe ask, so what are your intentions with me? What's happening? With him, it was let's get into a relationship, and quickly Val, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Whilst with other people, I'd be a bit more hesitant, like, okay, let me get to know you first. I just don't understand how I just gave in like that. Let me just say it's probably due to the fact that I might have been in such a low moment in my life that maybe I must have not been thinking straight, because I realized that really I dropped the ball with this one. I was really behaving out of character, and I found myself entangled with something that I had absolutely no intentions in entangling myself in. So I was just like, wow, this is... Ahmed, and it's not, now we can't even use the word entanglement without being at peace.
Not an entanglement.
Say it. Yo, Bojada. Yeah. Hi, guys. There, I am experiencing the worst type of emotional abuse. I have never experienced such a thing in my life. And I somewhat convinced myself that I was in love with this guy who turned out to be my abuser. I've met so many jerks in my life, but with him, he was a different breed. He was wow, guys. That guy really played me for a goose. That guy really took me for a goose, I tell you. I realized that I might have been hurt because I became so bitter. Like, right now, I still can't believe that I even, gave him a chance. I'm just like, I can't believe I even gave you a chance. Like, ridiculous. What I'm saying is that what turned out to be possibly the ugliest relationships that I got myself into, right after that relationship, I came across Kachi. And I know you guys might be like, yeah, they start out like this, it's nice, it's whatever. But we have pure intentions for one another. We legit have an entire future planned out. And we are legit making serious relationship moves. I've never been in a relationship that has so much progress. I have experienced so many things with this one relationship, with this one guy, that I didn't experience in all of the guys that I've dated. And the amount of dates that I've been on, guys, the amount of dates, Ashem. And you know what, when you're a varsity student, trust me, free ice cream, free dinner, free lunch, is a thing. I took advantage of those moments. But it's crazy because I just couldn't allow myself to jump into those relationships because somebody bought me dinner. I feel like Kachi was just God-given. I was looking for that person. I was still trying to identify the type of partner I want, the type of qualities I want in that partner. And I just stumbled upon him. And as I got to know him, I was like, what? This is what I need. This is what I need. As I kept on identifying his traits and whatnot, I realized it's all the things I need. Compatibility, the type of man he is, how he treats me, how he makes me feel so good, how supportive he is, how he's so given, extremely selfless, willing to be completely vulnerable with me. And those are all the things I never knew that I needed in a guy. It's insane because with those other guys that I was still messing around with back in the days, I'd be like, oh my gosh, the red flags are all there, but he looks like a supermodel, so I have to make it work. But little did I know that you can meet a supermodel that doesn't have any red flags. You know what I mean? Like, my darling here. Like, I'm completely attracted to my man. Like, I'm very attracted to him physically. And I'm also attracted to his heart. So it's all about giving people a fair chance and identifying the good quality traits. All I'm saying is that I feel like we all have somebody out there for us. And the irony of my relationship life is that I always felt like I'm never going to meet the love of my life. And then it happens and I'm only in my early 20s. And it's like, now I'm like, fudge, could I be too young now? Could I be too young for something so serious? I know, right? It's just crazy. But all I know is that you guys, everybody has their person out there. You just need to be able to uitware. Don't just afford people the opportunity to have you as a whole till you actually identify them as the right person. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but I hope I am making sense for all of you guys. Please feel free to send me any questions so that I clarify a couple of things for you in the comment section. You don't have to be a perfect human being. You don't have to be holier than thou, angel, blah, blah, blah. You just need to withhold a couple of things and then give to the right person. For instance, guys, this whole sleeping around thing, I get it. I get this whole sexual liberation is a thing. You're having fun and you want to do it. That's fine. But what happens if you catch emotion? I'm not even referring to the people who have multiple sleeping partners and they're kind of just having fun and whatnot. To be honest, they're not looking for relationships. I'm not talking about them. They're just doing their own thing. They're just living their best life. So I'm not even referring to them. I'm talking to the people that actually want to be in a relationship but find themselves constantly being played. Find themselves giving their all only for a guy to turn out to be a total D-bag. Maybe it's time you withhold a lot of things. Even if it means 6 months to a year. And I know some of you guys might argue and say, no, a guy will wait for 3 years till they babs. And then immediately they get something they want, then they've a moose. That's such an unfortunate scenario. But majority of the times, it's always advisable to wait before you give it up. I think I'm going to be making a relationship series basically detailing different segments of a relationship, from identifying the right partner to identify the intentions you want when you get into a relationship, to identifying the type of relationship you want to get into, to identifying who you are at that present moment. Do you want to be in an actual relationship, or do you want to mess around, play around? Well, we're trying to solidify the love we have with one another. So I think if somebody comes for me and goes like, how do you know? What if you break up tomorrow? And even marriage doesn't guarantee a lifelong partner, but at least you can identify the seriousness of a marriage. So I kind of feel like I do have the slightest idea of what it takes to be in a good, healthy relationship and identify the right partner for you. That's all I'm saying, you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into my video. I know this is very long. We actually need to vamoose right now, and we need to be there before 5 because today is D-Day. I am gonna leave it here. Leave me comments on what you would like to see me talk about in detail concerning relationships. This was just a broad perspective of my relationship experiences. I've been through the most, haven't we all? But I think I'm at a better place now in terms of relationships. So, guys, see you later. Mwah. Bye.